All right. I am here with Ethan Bulagoosh.
Hey, whoop.
Is Bulagoosh your last name?
Nope,
Okay.
just my username.
How'd you get that username?
I made it up when I was in like year two, and it kind of just stuck.
Nice. Okay. So Ethan is he is running Kanban Mail, which is a Gmail like an app that sits on top of Gmail and makes it like a Kanban board. But I'm not gonna like say what he's doing. I'm just gonna let him introduce himself. So, what are you working on, man? And yeah, tell us a bit about your background.
Okay, so yep, I'm working on Kanban Mail, which is I'm not sure if you've whoever's watching heard of Kanban boards, but it's basically like Trello. So they show up in columns and yeah, they show up in columns and you can drag them. The idea is that it goes from left to right. So the columns in Kanban Mail are uncategorized, to do today, in progress, and done. So like the idea is like they start on the left, then you like categorize them, and then like eventually they end up in done. So yep, I started working on that started really working on it in like June, and I launched beta in July, and then like I launched on Product Hunt and stuff in October. So yeah.
Yeah, you're very new and fresh in the game, but no one can miss you. You're all over Twitter, which is something that I want to talk about. But first, can you tell us a little bit about like you're a programmer, obviously. What's your journey to learning how to code, and finding this maker space, and kind of just walk through from beginning to kind of today, if you can.
Okay. So I think I started learning to code in like 2015. I forgot why really. I think I was just kind of curious. Like I don't know if you know the website Scratch, but it's like this block programming thing. Like I used to like make stuff on there, and then I was like, oh, it would be cool to learn like actual coding. So I started learning like HTML and CSS. Then I think I started learning JavaScript maybe the next year. So like I basically just like would like kind of make small websites and stuff for fun that were really bad. But like not anything really like launchable. I remember like looking up all these like SEO tips and stuff for like my personal website with two things on it. And I was like, why is no one coming? And then like after a while I realized probably because like there was literally no reason to go there. like like I wasn't providing anything. So then I suppose the first like thing I really did, which was like launching for people, was a blog called Code the Web. So I started that in like late 2017. I think I was actually chatting with some other developers online, and they were just like, "You should start a personal blog. Like, it's a really good idea. Like about coding." And I signed up for like I think it was like an email blogging course. And I actually forgot about it until the emails started coming in, and I was like, "Oh well, we might as well do it." And then so yeah, I made Code the Web. I think like I made a few posts on Reddit that like did pretty well. I think I got maybe like 2,000 visitors in a day, and like that was the first time that like anything more than 20 people had visited my site in a day, maybe probably even less. So yeah, from there I kind of basically just kept writing articles consistently, and then I stopped writing articles in June when I started. Okay, well, actually, first of all, so from there, that's how I got like into the indie maker space. I think I was like trying to find ways to get more traffic to Code the Web, and I found out about like Product Hunt and stuff. And I think I I think I searched up like how to launch on Product Hunt, and then like Peter Level's blog post about like hood maps came first or something, or like high up. Um, so I like clicked on that, and from there I sort of read a few of his blog posts, and then I sort of just discovered the whole like indie making thing and indie hackers, and then like from there I launched. I still haven't actually launched Code the Web on Product Hunt, but I decided to test Product Hunt out. Like launch a newsletter, like from like a Code the Web newsletter. So that got like 200 upvotes or something, but it got like 500 signups. So I was like, that's pretty cool. But then I realized that it wasn't really a product. But by then I'd like already started talking to like a lot of indie makers, and from there I decided, okay, I'm gonna launch a product, and then I did that, and yeah.
Okay, so let's not skip over is it Kanban or Kanban? How do you say it?
Like I don't know, I say Kanban, but
Kanban.
like I don't know which is the proper way to say it.
So the launch for Kanban Mail. Well, let's talk about the idea because it's a pretty ambitious product. How do you go from this newsletter and then think, okay, now I need to create a product? How did you come up with the idea for Kanban Mail, and what was that process like?
Um, well, I think it was actually like mid 2017 or something. I discovered like about Kanban and stuff. I started using this tool called Kanban Flow, which is basically like Trello, except it had a few cool like time things built in, like Pomodoro timer and that sort of thing. Um, and after a while, I was thinking, wow, this is so cool. I used to have like a linear to-do list, and like it's really cool how it kind of visualizes it, and now you can just glance at your to-do list and see like the status. And then I was thinking, wait a sec, like what's the most linear, scary list? It's like your emails, right? So then I was like, imagine if there was like a Kanban thing for your emails. So then the idea just kind of stayed in my head, and like I think I set a goal at the start of 2018 to like launch a product. So I wrote that down like under the goal as something I could make, and then I think I actually picked it up again, like when I saw something about like Vue.js, and I was like, I think it was Vue Native, where you can make like Vue.js stuff on mobile, and I was like, okay, maybe I should actually learn Vue now. And so then I like did that, and I immediately was thinking this would be really good for Kanban Mail, because before I'd made it, I'd made like a basic thing in React with it, but it was really complicated, and I kind of got overwhelmed and stopped. But I was like, okay, Vue would be perfect for this. Now I have like a 3,000 line file, most of which is in a script tag in my HTML. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got the idea and started working on it. Yeah.
And then what was the build process like? How long did it take? I know that building an email product is like, I've never done it, but I've heard it's pretty miserable. How was it?
Yeah. So for starters, I didn't use like generic IMAP. I mean, that would probably be a lot more painful, but like it's still pretty annoying dealing with all the APIs and stuff. So I'd actually never really used an API like ever before Kanban Mail. So jumping straight to like the Gmail API and stuff was a bit of a like hard thing to do. I actually like made it first for Outlook. I mean, I was planning on doing both, but like initially over about a month, I like basically did the whole thing and got it all working in like Outlook, and then I was like, okay, let's share with some people in Maker's Kitchen, which I think Sergio said he talked about it in his interview, but it's like a maker community. And then I was like, oh wait, like basically everybody uses Gmail. So that was in the school holidays, which was good. So I spent like a really intense week getting like everything working with the Gmail API, which was a lot more annoying. And then, yeah, so like overall, yeah, I think I launched like the first beta version on maybe like the 20 something of July, and I started like developing it on the 13th of June. Other than like a bit of playing around I did in 2017, but yeah, so like about a month.
Cool. And then I know that you had a big Hacker News launch. Was that the first time you showed it to the world, and what was that like?
Yeah, well, that was pretty crazy. Basically, I launched this kind of first beta version. Like a ton of stuff didn't work. Like you couldn't even send emails from it. It was basically just a proof of concept to like show what it did and stuff. So I launched that, and then within less than 24 hours, it ended up on Hacker News. So I think I launched it on like when I say launched it, I mean like emailed it to 17 people who had like heard of it from Telegram and asked for an email list to be made. So that was on Friday. I think I also posted it on like Product Hunt Makers. And then somebody found it from there and decided to post it on Hacker News. And then like this was a really basic landing page and everything. So from there, it kind of just got on Hacker News. And then I woke up and then I checked Twitter and everyone was just being like, congrats on being #1 on Hacker News. And I was like, what do you mean? I launched it to like 17 people like the day before. So yeah, like that was around the end of the holidays, and I'd spent like the entire holidays working on it straight pretty much. And I was kind of starting to doubt myself like a teeny bit. So it was good like to know that it was like worth pursuing. Yeah.
So someone else, I didn't know that someone else launched it on Hacker News. Was it just a sign up at that point, or was there actually a beta?
So there was actually a beta, but probably luckily, like the day before, I'd thought, just in case like something happens, I'll make it the sign up form goes to the email list, and then I can move people from the email list manually onto the like has access list, just to keep things manageable. But I didn't expect like 400 people to sign up. So there was something working, but the problem is like the landing page was made like it was like a real thing. So everybody was probably expecting this nice like polished product. So I decided to like wait a while until releasing to everyone. It was probably like a month until I launched like public beta, where like I gave access to everyone, and then like new people who signed up automatically got access. And yeah, and like by doing that, like releasing it to 400 people at once, and like nothing, like the world not ending, I knew that like that made me know that it was probably ready to launch on Product Hunt. So yeah.
So after Hacker News and before Product Hunt, it sounds like you had like 400 users. Were you getting feedback and making changes from them, and how'd that work?
So I probably worked on it for like a good month with like maybe 40 people before releasing to everyone.
Right.
Because yeah, like you couldn't send emails, you couldn't reply to emails, you couldn't delete emails, because I didn't have a proper terms of service, and like I didn't want anything bad happening. So like all that sort of thing. So I was like working like crazy and added all that stuff, and then gave it to everyone, and everybody seemed to like it. Most of the feedback was actually bugs, which I got fixed. But yeah, definitely I got lots of feedback, and actually a lot of feedback as well from like posting on Twitter, like screenshots of new stuff I'd added, and like people saying, oh, that's cool, or maybe you should add this, and like, yeah.
Cool. Okay. So then you launched on Product Hunt. I know you had a really successful Product Hunt launch. Can you tell us about that?
Okay. So I actually decided to launch. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention is while it was in beta, it was free, because like I didn't really feel comfortable charging for something where you couldn't even like send emails and stuff. So I launched it, which basically means like making it paid. Think about 2 weeks before Product Hunt. So that was like a post on Twitter, but that still got like a good maybe 50 to 100 people like signing up. and I'm actually glad I did because like there was actually a bug with the payment, which is not the best thing to have a bug with. Like so, this guy couldn't pay, and I was like up late one night getting it to work with him. Yeah. Um, so then after 2 weeks, I really wanted to like I was just waiting to launch the entire time, but I'm glad I left it so I could fix stuff. So the day that I like launched on Twitter, Ben Tossell kind of just sent me a DM like 5 minutes later saying like, "Hey, want me to hunt Kanban mail?" Um, so I was like, "Yeah, sure, that's awesome." Um, and he also had this cool like scheduling thing which I didn't know about. So because he's like one of the top hunters, he can actually like schedule stuff, which normal like people can't. But that was only a week in advance. So like about a week later, he scheduled that, and then I think I saw you doing like the 24-hour startup thing like a week or two before the launch, and I was like, oh well, we might as well live stream this and like see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get like some more traffic to it. So then it went live, and I was streaming and stuff, and basically it shot up to number one like at the start, and then stayed there the entire day. And just like I think a few days ago or something, it passed 1,000 upvotes. So yeah, it went very well.
Nice. So that's a good segue. So you had saw my 24-hour startup, and then you just decided to stream. So one thing that the reason why I wanted to interview you, and like it's very obvious to anyone who knows you, is like you're very vocal on Twitter, and I personally think that you're like really good at marketing yourself. So can you kind of give me your perspective on like how you see marketing in Twitter and building your audience?
Okay. So like apparently there's this thing called marketing. um, and like I don't know, it's kind of I mean there are lots of big companies doing it, so like it must work. But there's all this stuff about like funnels and like tracking conversions and like uh, the right amount of hashtags to post in a tweet for success and like all that sort of stuff. But like the way I see it is just like work out what your people like want to hear, and then like give it to them, and like have fun in the process, and remember to be a human. It's pretty much just like talking to like normal people, except like talking to more people, and like thinking about the sort of things that they want to hear from you. And yeah.
So more specifically, I mean, what what are some of the things you've learned that works really well for like
Okay.
talking to your people?
So like specific things. So first of all, like always, like be a human. Make sure you're like the worst marketing is marketing that sounds like marketing,
Yeah.
because nobody likes marketing that sounds like marketing. So like also just like tweet often. If it's stuff that people are interested in, then they're not really worried about you like spamming their feed or whatever. Because like that's what they followed you for. So like tweet often, like tweet every time you launch a new feature. Also something that I've found to be really helpful has been like tweeting previews. So like while I'm coding something, like halfway through, I might like take a screenshot or like a GIF, a screen recording, and say like something like whatever coming soon, and like that gets like a good reaction, gets people like hyped for it, and yeah.
Cool. The next question I want to ask you. So, how old are you?
15.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, you're probably one of the younger people that is doing this whole making thing. The first question I have, which I asked Sergio as well, is like, because you go to school, how do you balance these side projects and your schoolwork?
Well, mainly work on the side projects. Um, no, but like, okay, I definitely don't get enough sleep. Because basically I'll come home from school at like maybe 4 or something, and then I'll usually work on a Kanban mail. Oh, well, it depends on the day, but I'll work on Kanban mail for at least a few hours, and then like if I have work to do that day, like I'll do some of that. But like realistically, it's mostly like work, mostly on Kanban mail, like every afternoon and evening, and then like do the projects like in the 2 days before they're due. um, yeah.
Do your real life friends and family, do they think you're crazy?
Um, like sometimes. Not not that often. But like occasionally they think it's like not really. Like they're mostly pretty supportive. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just say to get more sleep, which I probably should do.
Nice. I was gonna ask you next. Oh yeah. So like, what is your, because you are so much younger, and like usually kids your age, at least from my perspective, it's like, what am I gonna, what's my career gonna be, and what's my, or they're worried about like sports, or I don't know. I don't know what kids worry about these days. What is your I mean, you're doing so well, so young. What are your aspirations? Is this something that you want to do like long term, or do you want to go to university? What does it look like for you?
I mean, like I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet, but like definitely like I don't know if like I'll see about uni and stuff, but after like definitely sometime like after school and maybe uni or whatever, like I want to do like indie making, and like I think it would be really cool to like get it to a like get stuff like Kanban mail, and maybe if I work on other stuff to like a point where like when I graduate I can like live off that. Then like I'll have more freedom to do stuff, so like that would be cool. Yeah.
Cool. Um, okay, another question I have for you is, I guess, have you, one thing that I've been asking all the interviewees is like, did you ever have fears of launching and putting yourself out there, and how have you conquered these fears? Yeah.
um I mean, the thing is, like when I launch, well, when it got launched on Hacker News, like I mean, I just woke up and it kind of like 22,000 people just happened to have gone on there. So like then it was like there was nothing I really like could do to make them go away, if you know what I mean. So it was like, okay, a bunch of people are like on it and looking at my stuff, and I haven't died yet, and like everything's fine. So yeah, like I think I don't like with Kanban Mail. Like it wasn't really ready when I launched it. Like it was mostly ready, but there was still like a ton of bugs, a ton of stuff that I could have added before launching, and I suppose the thing which made me like not worried about that is like you can always launch a V2, like you can always like try again or whatever. I think probably the most scary thing I did was live streaming the launch, because like I'd never live streamed before or anything. But like now I don't like really have fear of launching. It's like nothing bad can happen. The worst thing that can happen is people won't like your stuff, and then you like try again. Yeah.
Cool. So what's your advice for maybe other people that are watching that are maybe similar age to you or younger, or someone who hasn't launched anything? What's your advice to them, to get stuff done and to build products?
Okay. Well, first of all, like find something that like you're interested in, and find something that that you would use regularly, not just because then like if it's something solving a real problem, it'll probably do well. Not just that, but also just because then you're like putting love and time and effort into something that you're using, and it's cool like using something which you've made yourself. So definitely that helps with motivation. as for like coming up with ideas, I'm still kind of like undecided about this like ship super fast and see what works thing. I think it's like good in some ways because you can like test ideas and like get comfortable with launching and making things. But like at the same time, I think a lot of ideas probably could work if you spent more time on them. So like find something that like you're passionate about. Like I really love working on Kanban Mail because like I love using it. And yeah, I think just like put yourself out there. I think that's probably it.
That's great.
Probably some other stuff, but I can't think what.
That's great. All right, so tell me about. So Ethan is doing the challenge today. Tell me what you're building and what you've done so far.
Okay. So I'm making something called Maker.rocks, and basically one of the people in Maker's Kitchen, Danuka. I think like a couple of months ago, he was doing like launching lots of things. And one of his things had just got to #1 on Product Hunt, and like I think I posted something in Maker's Kitchen with like some nice emojis, so like a #1 medal, and then like 3 #1 products or whatever, and like it kind of just summed like what he was doing up well. And I thought like, what if there was a URL that you could like share, and then it just sums up like everything you're doing. Like you can just like drop a link, and then like everybody knows like a summary of your Maker activity, because at the moment it's kind of like there's this going on Twitter, and then this going on Product Hunt, and like this going on Maker Log, and that sort of thing. So just one place where you can share it and people can just see like what you're working on. So I think like that'll be good for like a Twitter bio, or if you have your own website, linking to it on the website, or also like when you join a community and people are like, hey, what are you working on? You can like link to that, and that basically just like sums your Maker activity up. So yeah, so far I've got like authentication working, so like sign up, sign in. It was actually an interesting thing because I've never really done authentication using Stripe metadata before, without like using an API where I can use API keys to authenticate. So I actually have set up a system where like it will generate a code and then store that in Stripe metadata, and then send you an email which sets that in your browser, and then check that before each request. Then I've also coded the bit where it gets stats from Product Hunt and calculated some things like the minimum time between like 2 Product Hunt launches, the maximum time, the average time, also like the total votes across all your products, the average votes, obviously like a list of your products. So then after this, what I've got left is the MakerLog API, the whip.chat API, and then I need to make a UI for everything because I was very self-controlled. I decided not to go straight into making some beautiful CSS that does nothing. I want to get all the backend together, and then we can spend the remaining time making a nice interface for it all. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, last thing is where can people find you on social media? And yeah.
Okay. So on Twitter, I'm BullyGoosh. That was a username I made up like when I was 8 years old, and it kind of just stuck. So that's BOOLIGOOSH. Yeah. Or you can just go to ethan.link. That's my website, which is kind of nicer to share. So ethan.link, and then there you can like find my Twitter account. Also, I mean, I'm on Telegram if you want to say hi. BullyGoosh again. I'm on Twitch, Ethan_the_maker. Feel free to come watch me building Maker.rocks. Then, like, obviously, product websites, Kanbanmail, Kanbanmail.app, and codetheweb.blog. I think that's it. I think.
That's just it. That's like 6 projects I just typed in. Code the web. Awesome, dude. All right, well, good luck with the rest of your launch, and hopefully we'll jump in there later.
Okay, thanks. Cool. Okay, see ya.
See you, dude.